Hello everyone and welcome to Bluebeam Revu. My name is Ari and I'm a Bluebeam certified instructor with digital drafting systems. Today we're going to learn how to browse the internet with Revu. We can use Revu to browse the internet in many ways. A manual method is going to the window dropdown and clicking on Web tab, and it'll open up whichever home page you've set, and I'll get into how we set our home pages later. I've already changed mine, for example, to google.com. We can also go to the Review dropdown and click on Preferences, and if we want our web page to open up by default every time we open up the program, just go to General and Options, and right here is Open Homepage and Web tab on Startup. This will make the program start up just a little bit slower, but if you have a fast and powerful computer and a good internet connection, then this won't really impact you too heavily. While we're here, let's go to the Window category on the left side and Web tab right up here. And now we have some options specifically for browsing the internet. For example, if we use GPU acceleration, our browsing processing speed will be increased, but this is dependent on your processor. So if you have a good processor, check this on and it will help a lot. The second option is quite interesting. It allows us to automatically switch to new web tabs upon creation. And what this means is if you make a new web tab, it's going to basically switch to a new web tab automatically. Then the third option is very useful. When you click on a hyperlink that's in a PDF, if you uncheck this option, it's going to use whichever web browser is your default on your computer. For me, for example, it's Google Chrome. But if you want to use Review and you don't want to switch to another program, you can open PDF hyperlinks in a web tab. So if you click on one and it links directly to a website, it's going to make a new tab right up here, and it'll be really quick and easy to find. Then the fourth option, open web PDFs in split view. This means that when a PDF that is in a web browser is opened, it's going to split your view if you have an existing document open. So I have the example floor plan open, and if I was to open a web tab from a hyperlink, for example, not by just going to Window Web tab, but if I open it from a link, then it's going to split my view so that I can see both the web tab and my PDF drawing. Then if you want to see any script errors, you can check that on. It's turned off by default. And then standardized favorites is quite interesting. You can actually check this on and then click on this button right here to load a set of favorites. So if you have some favorites that you've exported from Google Chrome or Internet Explorer or Edge, for example, you can actually import them here very quickly like that. Now, what I've done is I've made my own favorites manually. So I'm just going to click on Edit Web Favorites. And here is a list of my favorites, for example, of course, Google. And what I've done with Google is I've clicked on it and I've clicked on the home button and that brought it down here to home pages. So for example, if I get rid of this and then Google is still selected, I'm going to click on home and it's that easy. That's how you can set your home page for your web browser. And I have other favorites right up here that I've added. For example, if I want to rename any of these, so I'm going to rename this to DDS CAD website, for example, I'm going to click on the pen icon right here to edit it, and I can give it a new name, a new title, so DDS CAD website. That's a bit more specific. And we can also delete these if we need to with the X button. We can add new ones. So when we do this, we can just give it a title and put in a URL manually if we want to. That can be a little bit tedious. So instead of doing that, I'm going to show you a better way. Before we get into it, let's finish up with this dialog. We can import our favorites directly from Internet Explorer. And then there's export as standard favorites once again. So this is where in the program we can export our favorites and then we can also import them back into preferences if we need to. So very useful way to get your favorites from one PC to another if you're using Review with a web browser very often. So let's get out of here for a bit. I'll click OK because I do want to keep DDS CAD website there. Let me cancel out of, actually I'll click OK here as well just to make sure that my settings stayed. Now to access your favorites, the easy way is to go to the favorites button right here and then you can click on any of your favorites in this list. So I'll go to our website, for example. And we can also add any website to favorites very easily by clicking on this button. We have add the favorites, and that edit web favorites is right here. So we don't have to go to preferences to access that. We can just go here directly. It's the fastest way to do it. And we have some simple buttons that are associated with this. We have a refresh button, which is very useful if you click the back button and you want to reload the page and make sure all the assets are up to date. You can click on that. And then you'll know that you're in a web browser because this bar up here is unique. This is an address bar, and we have this icon for web browser right here. If I switch to my floor plan, that goes away, and the generic drop down with document information and properties and the ability to insert blank pages, or if I select a markup, all of our different markup options up here, they essentially replace that. And as soon as I go back to the web browser, it switches to an address bar. And that's essentially how to use Bluebeam Review to browse the internet. Thank you very much for watching our tutorial on browsing the internet with Bluebeam Review. Once again, my name is Ari and I'm with Digital Drafting Systems. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day.